To Christy Arnold for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to be here to come see your beautiful faces, to be able to share with you, to be able to empower you. Super excited to be here on today. Anybody excited about your life? Or anybody ready to get excited about your life? If you're going to be excited today. Now, when I look at the theme, you are enough. Those are some powerful words. Wouldn't you agree? You are enough. No matter what anyone has told you, no matter what you have gone through, no matter what label has been placed on you, no matter what side of the tracks you're from, you are enough. In and of yourself, you were designed the way you're designed for a reason. You're wired the way you're wired for a reason. You are distinctly and necessarily different for a purpose. You are enough. You know, life sometimes have a way of happening. Is that right? We didn't ask for the divorce. For me, 2 times. Didn't ask for the divorce. Didn't put death of my grandmother on my vision board. Didn't invite trouble into my life, and life has a way of happening to the best of us. It doesn't discriminate, it doesn't pick and choose, but it happens to the best of us. Is that right? Yes. It happens, life happens. And so sometimes when life happens, it knocks us down so far that we begin to believe that I'm not enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not thin enough. I'm not dark enough. I'm not light enough. We begin to think that I'm just not it because life has taken me there. I can remember several years ago, ladies, I was living the dream. We talked about dreams a little earlier. I really was at the time, to be honest. I was living the dream. I was living in the suburbs outside of Houston, Texas, in Cypress, in my 3,700 square foot home on the lake, and I was married to my husband, who I thought would be my husband for the rest of my life. And my husband and I were in ministry together, and life was good. I had my daughter. She was a teenager at that time. She was a teenager at that time. She was doing great. We were living the dream on the lake. I could walk out my backyard, sit on the pier and fish if I wanted to, get in the boat and paddle down the lake if I wanted to. I could go upstairs to my 2nd-story balcony and read my book and prop my feet up and look out into the water. Life was good. Life was good. I could get into my luxury automobile and park in my garage and go wherever I wanted to go in style. Life was good. Ministry was thriving. I owned a mortgage company, successful mortgage company. Business was good. Everything was great. And then life happened. Life happened. I call it my tsunami of events in life. And so, although I was living the dream at one time and everything was good, one day, I got notification and began seeing indication in the news about the mortgage industry was going into a crisis. Some of you may remember that several years ago. And the mortgage industry was having some problems, and as a result of that, I didn't forecast, I didn't do the things that I could have done maybe. And so my business didn't make it. I can actually remember being in the office, and by this time, I'm trying to save the business. We get to the closing table. The finance company is not funding the loan, so we can't close the loan, so the buyer can't buy the home. And so now, not only that, I was depending on that loan to pay my staff, because I had depleted all my funds, everything was gone. And I can remember in this time, I didn't have the money. I had already told my staff we were closing. This would be the last payroll, but I didn't have the money. So I found myself scurrying out of the office, going to my 3,700 square foot home on the lake, gathering items to take to the pawn shop so that I could get money to put in the account to pay my employees for the last payroll. business closed. So the business closed, it didn't make it. As the business is closing, I come home one day and discover, unfortunately, in the middle of the night, my daughter comes, and she comes in the room and she's screaming and she's crying, and I'm frantic, maybe 3 a.m. in the morning. What's going on? Are you okay? What happened? What happened? My husband, my ex-husband now, attempted to molest my daughter. The preacher attempted to molest my daughter. So now the business is closing, have a failed business, and so now I have a broken daughter, and of course, now I'm on the way to divorce court with my husband. Failed business, failed marriage, broken daughter, all happening at the same time. Now, so not only are those things going on, that business was my primary source of income. Right? So now that the business is closed, the income is dried up, and because there's no money, I can't pay the mortgage on the dream home, which has now become a house of horrors with everything that is going on. So can't pay the mortgage, so now I am facing foreclosure and nowhere to live. Failed business, failed marriage, broken daughter, homeless. Not only that, if I can add to it, so I'm still trying to hold on to the house, correct? I'm still trying to hold on to the house, still trying to see how I can pay and stay there. I get up in the middle of the night, not sleeping well these days, right? So I get up in the middle of the night, and in the dream home at the front of the house, nice big glass doors. So as I'm walking by the doors to go get a drink of water, I notice I see some red tail lights. And as I go closer to the door, it's the wrecker truck, there to repossess my car. And have you ever had that feeling at the pit of your stomach? You just knew there was trouble. I'm in trouble. I'm not sure how this is going to play out. And so I immediately said, being the strong person I am, it's okay. I'm going to call the finance company in the morning. We're going to work out a payment plan. It's going to be okay. And it's going to be all right. So I wake up in the morning and I call the finance company. Hi, how are you doing? I want to make a payment plan for my automobile. I can put some money down. If you can just make a payment plan with me, ma'am, the person on the line, ma'am, no, we can't make a payment plan for you. Oh, no, it's okay. So keep in mind, I had great credit up until this point. Great credit, money in the bank, bills paid on time, all was well. Oh, no, it's okay. I've never been, before now, I haven't been late, and I'm going to make a payment plan, and it's, it'll be, ma'am, we can't make a payment plan for you. And I said, well, I don't understand. I just, I'm good for it. I can pay, right? And she says, ma'am, you can't continue to hold on to a car that you're not paying for. You have to make a payment in 3 months. So there was total silence on the phone at this point because reality had set in. And at this moment, I broke. And I cried on the phone with this customer service agent. She was silent. Obviously, she had gone through this many times before. She wasn't rude, but I cried. So it took me about a minute to pull myself back together and say, okay, this is my reality, and I gotta deal with it. So after pulling myself back together, I told her, I said, ma'am, okay, I totally understand. I will have a car parked in the front tonight. Have your workers right there to pick up the car. So that night, of course, I'm pacing back and forth by the door, trying to see if the record truck is coming. And finally, the record truck comes. And so my daughter, she's kind of watching out with me. And finally, I see those red lights coming to pick up the car. And we're standing looking out the door because at this point, we don't know what to do. And so, again, the tears began to stream down. My daughter standing here, and my daughter turned to me and she hugged me. And she said, Mom, it's going to be okay. And so from that point, we went from failed business, failed marriage, broken daughter, nowhere to live, no car to drive. I was broke and I was broken. I hit rock bottom, spiritually, financially, and emotionally, in every way. Because life had thrown me a blow and I had fallen down and I did not know how to get back up. But the good news today, and what I came to share with you, is that no matter how far you've fallen, no matter how low you've gone, no matter what life has brought in your path, it is not over until you win. You can always get up, dust yourself off, and win. As a matter of fact, every setback is simply a step up to your next dimension in life. What has come to you, what has been brought to you is only going to make you stronger, going to make you better if you can just hang in there, don't quit, and don't give in. And so what I want to share with you are some of the principles that I use that are in my book, Get Up, Dust Yourself Off, and Win. I was inspired to write the book as a result of my story and the things that I've encountered, principles to help you when you're in a state, when you're stuck, when you're stagnant, when you're falling, when you're low, when you're depressed, when you don't want to keep pushing forward, you can get up, dust yourself off, and win. When you want to get from where you are to where you want to be, how many of you know it's a process? It's a process. Will it happen overnight? No. Will it be easy? No. Will you always feel good and be happy and cheerful? No. But if you can endure the process, I promise you there's a happy ending to your story if you hang in there long enough to write the next chapter. So there are 3 phases that we go through in this process from getting from where we are to where we want to be. Phase number 1 is what I call the get up phase. Somebody say, get up. Yeah. Say it like you mean it. Say, get up. Get up. Yes. Yes. When you are down, you can't be like, oh, I gotta get up. You're like, oh, I'm getting up. Get up. You gotta get up. And getting up is probably the hardest phase in this process because the fortitude, the strength, the courage that it takes to get up after being humiliated, belittled, embarrassed, to get up can be the hardest process. But how many of you know it is necessary? It is necessary because somebody's depending on you to get up. Somebody's depending on you to keep going. And so it's important to get up. So in the get up phase, the very first thing we must do, I call the acknowledgement. The acknowledgement. Acknowledging, number 1, what happened. Yes, it happened. The divorce happened. He cheated on me. It happened. Mother died and left me. It happened. Got fired from my job. No notice. You're done. We're laying off. It happened. That diagnosis from the doctor. Didn't want it. Healthy, taking care of yourself, but it happened. And so we must acknowledge where we are in life. No matter how ugly it is, no matter how painful it is, the acknowledgement. We can't keep running away. We've got to acknowledge that it happened. Does it feel good? No, but it happened. The days of sweeping it under the rug and wearing the mask and pretending like I'm all good and everything's fine, those days are over. If you want to move forward and get from where you are to where you want to be, you've got to acknowledge that it happened. I always say you have to face it to fix it. If you can't face it, you can't fix it. Acknowledge it. Not only acknowledge that it happened, but also acknowledge what was my part in it. Of course, things happen. We didn't invite it. We didn't welcome trouble in. We didn't ask for trials to come. But sometimes we have a part to play. Did I ignore a sign? Did I see something coming did I handle, in my business that failed, I had to acknowledge what my part was in it. And so although, the mortgage industry, there were signs, there were things on the news, there were things in the industry, all of these types of things, maybe if I paid more attention, maybe if I was more diligent about my being, about my business, the acknowledgement. Maybe there were signs from my husband, things that I kind of dismissed or I was too busy to pay attention to regarding my daughter. So acknowledging, if we don't live in denial, and we begin to acknowledge again, no matter how ugly it is, no matter how painful it is, the acknowledgement is necessary. So in the get up phase, we're getting up, we're trying to pull our lives back together. First, we acknowledge what happened, our role, our part in it. And then the second thing, as we get up, is what I call the awakening. Awakening to our truth. This is my reality. This is where I am right now. It is what it is. Do I like it? No. When I think about the awakening, if you've ever had surgery before and you've been asleep and you had pain meds, you didn't feel the pain, but once you begin to awaken from that surgery, you start feeling the pain, don't you? And so that's how it is for us emotionally. After we have experienced life, the awakening phase, I am now awakening to my truth, and it hurts. I'm now awakening to my truth, and I don't like what I see. When I was awakened to my truth, and I finally, woke up to these things, I was broke, I was broken, I was humiliated because my husband was the preacher, and we were in ministry, and we were leaders, and so now he's going to attempt to molest my daughter. People are going to think it's my fault, so I woke up to shame. I woke up to blame. I woke up to guilt. I woke up to humiliation. But these were things that I had to face if I wanted to fix it. If I wanted to live my best life now, if I wanted to be my highest and best self, if I wanted to be the very best that I could be for my daughter who was depending on me, I had to awaken and face my truth. And in order to fix it, I had to face it. I had to sit in the pain, and I had to sit in the discouragement, and I had to sit in temporarily in the depression, because how many of you know depression is real? Depression is real. We've got to face it. And so I had to awaken to that truth. And so now I know where I am. I'm awake. I faced it. And so now this is the beginning phase for me to get up in my life again and begin to start living and not just existing. The awakening is we sleepwalk through life because life knocks us with a mighty blow, and it knocks us down, and then we sleepwalk. We're pretending. We're just going through the motions of life. We're really not living. We're just existing. We're going through the motions. We wake up in the morning and we get the kids ready for school. Kiss the husband goodbye. Go to work. May have a few conversations with some co-workers, go to lunch, come back, maybe engaged in work, maybe not, because remember, we're just going through the motion. We swept under everything under the rug. We're wearing the mask and pretending that it's all good when it's not. By the end of the day, we're exhausted. We get the kids. We go back home. We do homework. We cook dinner. Now by this time, we're exhausted and it's time for bed, and we get back up to do it all over again, like a robot, going through the motions of life, just existing and not living. Anybody ready to live? Anybody ready to live your best life? So it's time to get up. So phase one is get up. So now, to get from where I am to where I want to be, the second phase is dust yourself off. Dust yourself. We're probably saying, dust yourself off of, dust what off, Tammy? Dust off the people, places, things that no longer serve you. You see, because as we go through life, as we experience life, there are some things, there's some residue our past that's clinging to us, that no longer serves us, that we must rid ourselves of. Past experiences, past hurts. And so just like I have this lint roller in my hand and we get the lint off of our clothes, and sometimes there's a whole lot of lint depending on what the garment is, right? Like, where did this come from? And that's how life is. We got to dust it off. Because we can't take the toxic things that we have in our lives right now into our future if we really want to live our best lives now. We've got to dust it off. The things that no longer serve us. Well, you say, Tammy, that doesn't sound very easy. I've just tried to give up after going through everything that I've gone through. How in the world can I start dusting some things off, eliminating some things from my life, eliminating some things from my thoughts? And so in this phase, what you have to do is what I call ignite the power within. Igniting the power within. The fact of the matter is we all have sparks on the inside of us that are just waiting to be activated because life has taken us back. And so that fire, that burning desire that we used to have, that flame has gone out. We're just trying to stand on our own 2 feet and put our lives back together. There's no flame. We're better making it. And so in order to dust yourself off and move forward, we've got to ignite the power within. So some of those sparks of power that I want to share with you today. Number 1 is know your why. Know your why. When you are low, when you are down, when you are not motivated, when you are depressed, when you don't feel like going forward, when you don't think that there is anything worth going forward for, your why. Why am I here? Why should I keep going? Why should I keep living? Your why. Why is it important for me to stay in business? Why is it important for me to make this marriage work? Why? Know your why. Your why is what's going to give you the fuel to keep pushing forward. When I was growing up, I grew up with low self-esteem. I did not think I was enough. I didn't think I was pretty enough. I didn't think I was smart enough. I just didn't think I was enough. So from elementary school to middle school to high school, I would look for love in all the wrong places. I would want affirming. I want to be a part of the popular kids. Tell me I'm good, like me, because I didn't feel like I was enough. At the age of 15, I became pregnant in high school. At the age of 16, I gave birth to my daughter, my one and only daughter that I talked about earlier. Because I was looking for love. I was to validate me. Tell me I'm good. Tell me I'm enough. But at that time, so I had my daughter, graduated from high school. I'm working full time now. I'm working full time in the day. I'm in college at night. Thank God I had a wonderful support system. My parents supported me and helped me with raising my daughter. And so now I'm going to school. I'm going to work in the daytime. I'm working at nighttime. By the time I get off, I get her, spend a little time with her, get her to bed. Then I get to the kitchen table so that I can do my homework. I attended the University of Houston in Houston, Texas. And so I get to the table exhausted. And I get to the table, get my books out. The next thing I know, I'm waking up at 5 a.m. in the morning, head on the table, because I've fallen asleep at the table. So now it's time to get up, shower, get her ready, and go again. But she was my why. I sacrificed and I worked hard. And was still a lot of things because she was my why. So when I fell down, she is still my why today, grown and married, but she's still my why. And so that was my motivation. When I didn't want to keep going, when I didn't want to keep pushing, I put that why in front of me. Miss Ebony is my why. And that gave me the fuel to keep pushing, to keep pushing. So that's a spark of power, your why. Your will to win just the sheer will to win will ignite the power within you. That will to win says, you know what? I may have been knocked down. I may have been forsaken or betrayed by my friend. I may have experienced church hurt. He left me. They talked about me. But at the end of the day, I set my will to win. I will come through this. I will make it. I will overcome. This is just temporary, because the fact of the matter is what we're going through right now is just temporary. It won't last always. But I set my will to win. Whatever winning means for you. Whatever winning means for you. Whether it's winning in your finances or winning with your family, being the best mother you can be, being the best entrepreneur you can be. Whatever winning is for you, set your will to win. Those sparks of power. Another spark of power I want to share with you, which is very critical to me, is your spiritual connection. Being connected to a power source that is higher than you. Because when life happens, if you're not connected to a power source that is higher than you, you will lose the will to win. Your power will not be ignited. And so when I can steal away and make sure I'm connected to my God, that knowing that I am not in this by myself, knowing that suicide is not an option, knowing that the depression must go, because I'm connected to that power source. So when I become weak and when I want to quit and give up, that power source ignites the power within me. Ignite the power within. So we're dusting ourselves off of the things that no longer serve me. I'm dusting it off. I can't take this excess baggage into my future. And so as we're dusting off, we are dusting off what I call the mess. M-E-S-S. Acronym for that, the mistakes, the excuses, the setbacks, and the stagnancy. Dusting off the mess. The mess of my past, the mistakes, the excuses, the setbacks, and the stagnancy. Dusting off the mistakes. Anybody ever made a mistake before? 1 or 2? 500? It's a part of life, is that right? We make mistakes. So the great thing about mistakes is mistakes come to wake you up and say, hey, you're off path. Mistakes come to help you grow. So not only do you go through it, you grow through it. And so your mistakes are the building blocks of your future. So it's important to learn the lesson when we make these mistakes so we can build our lives and be our highest and best selves. So you got to dust off the mistakes. And with the mistakes, it's important to forgive. First of all, forgive yourself. Sometimes we have a hard time forgiving ourselves, don't we? You have to forgive yourself. And one of the exercises that I like to do with forgiveness is this little mirror. Look at myself in the mirror and say, Tammy, you look good, girl. Oh. And if you need to say that too. Yes. I forgive you, sweetheart. You missed the mark on that one, but it's okay. We're going to learn the lesson from this. I love you. I forgive you. And it's okay. It's okay. We're going to learn the lesson. We're going to grow from it. And we're going to move forward. Look at yourself in the mirror. Forgive yourself. And not only forgive yourself, because this is a part of the healing process. You got to forgive to heal. Sometimes we hold on to past hurt. We hold on to grudges. We hold on to things. And the person that offended us, they're going on about their business. They're not even thinking about it anymore. He's remarried. and we're still holding on to the past. We're still holding on. But it's important that we forgive that person. From a pure heart, from an authentic place, forgive that person. Release them, because that frees you. That brings freedom to your life. So when I forgive the person that offended me, the person that hurt me, when I forgave my ex-husband for the deed that he did, that freed me. No longer was I in bondage by that situation. So forgive. So when there is a mistake, forgive yourself and forgive others. So we are dusting off the mess, the mistakes. The E is for excuses. How many times do we make excuses? And just because life happens, that doesn't mean that we have to make an excuse for not being better, for not being greater, from not moving forward. Well, if he wouldn't have left me and now I have all these bills and I'm in debt, excuses. Well, they gave the promotion to Sally. I really deserved it, and that's why the department is falling apart now. And I'm just not going to step up and do any more than the bare minimum. Excuses. Excuses are the crutches for the uncommitted. When you are uncommitted to making your life better, excuses begin to dominate in your life. And excuses are only hindrances that hold us back from living our best life. So the mistakes, the excuses, S is for setbacks. Anybody ever experienced a setback before in life? Whether it's sickness, loss of a loved one, whatever it is, low self-esteem, a setback. But the good news is that your setback is not permanent. It is a situation that happened. Your setbacks, again, are simply set you up for the next dimension in your life. The past happened. And so we have to dust off the past setback, the past experience, the past things that are holding us hostage. Oftentimes we are literally held hostage by our past. The fact of the matter is, if I am looking back, there's no way I can move forward. If I'm holding on to my past, there's no way I can move forward. So it's important that we release our past, we learn from it, we grow from it, but we release our past so that we can move forward to live our best lives. So we're dusting off the mess, the mistakes, the excuses, the setbacks, and lastly, the stagnancy. Being stuck, stagnant, immobile. We're not moving forward. We're not moving backwards. We're constantly replaying over and over and over in our minds what happened. Have you ever had that situation that something happened and you wake up in the morning and you replay what happened all over again? You lay down at night before you go to sleep. You're replaying that situation all over again. At lunchtime, when you get a free moment, you're replaying that situation all over again and again and again. How many of you know you're just attracting more negative things into your life? If you can just release the past, that will allow you to begin to make movement, progress in your life. No longer will you be stagnant and stuck in where things were or how things used to be. So we got to push past the stagnancy. Now, one of the most important things as we're dusting off the mess, that we're doing these things and we're trying to move forward, one of the most important things that you can do is to get centered. Every day, get centered. Find yourself in a place where you are at peace and rest within yourself. Before you start your day, get centered. I'm at peace. I'm at rest within myself because everything begins within. Everything starts here. Everything begins with me. Everything begins inside of me. And so if I can get centered, that will position me in a place where I'm not constantly falling back into my old ways, into my past, into wallowing, having a pity party, and all of these things, and playing the blame game. If I can get centered, I'm more likely to be able to handle what life brings to me. Well, get centered. How do we get centered? So many different ways we can get centered. Start your morning off on a positive note. Meditation. There's prayer. There's affirmations. Anybody believe in the power of positive words? Yes. Affirmation. Start your day off. Take time to make sure you get in a quiet space to build yourself up. Speak positive words over your life. Spend time in prayer. Spend time in meditation. These are things. Even exercise. Some people say, oh no, exercise is torture. That's not getting centered. But for my runners, maybe it is. So get centered. Get into a place where you're stable, because life is going to continue to happen. Things are going to continue to come your way. But when you are strong and when you are in a place that you are centered, where you are solid, then you're more likely to be able to handle what comes your way. Because as you're going through this process of dusting yourself off, don't think that the red carpet is going to be rolled out for you. It's going to be all flowers and lilies and rainbows and, and everything's okay. No, that's when temptation comes. That's when things come your way. And I call them fatal distractions. Fatal distractions. These are the people, the places, and the things that are toxic to you, will present themselves to you to detour you from your destiny. Fatal distractions, because now, I'm feeling good. I've forgiven myself. I've dusted off some things, and there comes that one person. You think you're too good now, since you started that business and stuff. What are you doing? Oh, since your husband left, looks like you have a new self-esteem about you. Well, what is this going on? Fatal distractions, negative, toxic people. And sometimes people have been in our lives for years. They've been friends, or so we thought friends, or associates. But the fact of the matter is, sometimes people are only in our lives for a season. And sometimes for a reason and a season, and sometimes that season is up. And when you're growing in life and you're becoming your highest and best self and you're trying to be a better person, but you constantly have this person pulling you back with their negative words and negative comments, and things are coming back to you, what they said, and the looks they give you, and the little comments that the undercover hating, and all of that kind of stuff. Fatal distractions. And the more you entertain it, the lower you go. And is it hard? Yes, some people you just have to love from a distance, because sometimes it can even be family members. But some people we have to love from a distance, because it is important that I become my highest and best self. I have somebody depending on me. I know that there's a purpose in my life that is better than where I am right now. So eliminate the fatal distractions. Maybe there are some places that you just don't need to go anymore. You fought with alcoholism and you won, and so now that there are just some places that we shouldn't go anymore. The fatal distractions, the toxic people, places, and things that no longer serve us, as we're dusting ourselves off, we cannot afford it. And so not only that, after we've dusted ourselves off, we're alert, we're attentive now to who is in our circle and who we're surrounded with. We've released the past, we've forgiven. Now it's time to move forward. You see, because when life knocks us down, sometimes we're lost. I was lost. Sometimes we need to rediscover our passion and purpose. Because sometimes we get lost in the tsunami of events that happen. And we lose our purpose. We lose sight of who we are. We lose sight of why we're even supposed to be here. And so it's important for us to reevaluate who we are, what our strengths are, what is is that sweet spot? What is that thing that you just absolutely love and enjoy doing? You wake up in the morning, you're excited about it, it puts a smile on your face. Rediscover your passion, your purpose. It may even take polling some family and friends and say, hey, what do you think I'm good at? When you see me, what thing stands out about me? Because we're on our road to recovery, to living our best life now. So it's important, again, not to just to go from existing to living a life of purpose. A life of purpose, a life of fulfillment. So now, from getting from where we are to where we want to be, I can remember I was in a place. So after my tsunami of events happened, all of these things happened, and I closed the mortgage company, put in the pieces of my life back together. I was from one temporary assignment, one contract assignment to another, making very little to nothing. When I'm used to making 6 figures, and so now I'm making $11 an hour. And big difference, right? And so I find myself just here today. I'm working part-time in the retail, and during the daytime I work in the contract job. And my degree is in accounting, but it took me a year and a half to even solidify, go back into accounting to find a full-time position in accounting. The market was tight. And so I finally went back into accounting. It's like, yes, I got me another good job with some benefits. And I'm on the job, and I began to notice something. I would go into work every day. I'll be honest with y'all. That's one thing about me. I'm very authentic. They didn't like me, and I didn't like them. I would go in, I go to my cubicle, not an office. I go to my cubicle, and I do my work, and then day in and day out, I just dreaded going. And I said, no, this is not it for me. This truly, after everything that I've been through, this truly cannot be the life that I was destined to live. So we got to refuse to settle. Refuse to settle for just enough. Refuse to settle for just getting by. Refuse to settle for whatever life dishes to you. And so I began to do some soul searching, because that was not a part of who I was, being disgruntled and unhappy and mean and negative. I said, this can't go on. So I began to do some praying, some soul searching. What is it? What is my real purpose? I know I've been through all of these things, and as a result of that, some things have changed about me that I don't like. And so I need to know, what is my purpose? Why am I here? How can I live a fulfilled life? And after prayer and soul searching, polling my friends and family, I rediscovered my passion and purpose. And it's training and empowering women. And so from that point, after everything that I've been through, and listen, this is a lesson. Everything that you've gone through is for a reason. Every setback, every hurt, every trial, it's not for nothing. It's for a reason. And that reason is a part of your purpose. And so I began to use the things that happened to me, my accumulation of experiences. I began to use those things to fuel my purpose. And so as you're dusting yourself off, begin to recognize and become conscious of who you really are, stand in your truth, and rediscover your passion and your purpose. And so now we're moving into the final phase. We get up, we're dusting ourselves off. Keep in mind that dusting yourself off is a continual process. Personal development, continuing to grow. The journey doesn't end with that. But the last phase is win. Somebody say win! Win! Oh, that's a weak win, y'all. Come on. Say win! Win! Yes. Anybody ready to win in life? Win! Yeah, there we go. We're ready to win. This is the most exciting phase. So the get up phase is the hardest phase, because that's when you get started. The dust yourself off is the longest phase of the process, but the win is the exciting phase. Now I have rediscovered my passion and my purpose. In the win phase, the biggest aspect, the biggest commodity in this win phase is your mind. You see, winning is a mindset. Again, whatever winning means for you, It's a mindset and an attitude of the heart. My favorite book, the Bible says, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So winning is a mindset. It is an attitude of the heart. If you really want to win in life, you must take on a winner's mindset. Everything originates in the mind. As a matter of fact, from the seats, the chairs that you're sitting in now, to the car that you drove to get here, everything, all of those are thoughts and ideas that begin in your mind. And so what we have to do is rid ourselves of stinking thinking. Negative thoughts. Thinking, negative, bad thinking. We've got to rid ourselves of the negative thinking because we can't win with stinking thinking. We can't win with negative thoughts and bad attitudes. Winning is a mindset and it's an attitude of the heart. There's a poem that I love, one of my favorite poems by Walter D. Winnow, and it talks about winning. It talks about winning and how winning is an attitude of the heart. And no matter how small you are, no matter how big you are, winning is a mindset and we can all win. And so with that in mind, limited thinking equals limited living. If you think small, you're going to live small. If you think low, you're going to live low. And so if we can transform our thinking to a winner's mindset, we can come from a place of low-level thinking or low living to high living. Because at the end of the day, again, everything originates in the mind. Winning takes place in the mind first, and then it manifests outwardly. Winning starts here and then manifests outwardly. So no matter what you have gone through in your life as I prepare to take my seat, know that it is not over until you win. Know that you have everything on the inside of you already to get up, dust yourself off and win. Know that everything on the inside of you was placed for a purpose. You may have to reignite some power. You may have to rediscover who you are. But know that you were born to win. You were created for greatness. You're designed and wired the way you are, distinctly and necessarily different for a purpose. And no matter how far you've fallen, no matter how low you've gone, no matter what they say about you, no matter where you've come from or what you've been through, in the end, you win. In the end, you win. How many people believe in positive words and affirmations? Yes? All right. With that in mind, I'm going to ask you to stand to your feet. And I want you to say, repeat these affirmations after me like you really know it. You really believe it. Are you with me?
Yes.
Yes. Awesome. Awesome. Repeat after me. I am enough.
I am enough.
I was born to win.
I was born to win.
I have everything I need.
I have everything I need
to succeed in life.
to succeed in life.
I am enough.
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 I'm excited about my future.